Hello friends, a very warm welcome to Coding Techniques again. Today we are going to design few small things which actually comes very handy when you are building a big project. So similar case happens when we are working with the empty screens. When you have a list of restaurants which is undefined, you are getting no restaurants, then you need to show some design out there. That's what we are going to build. You will get to know when we start that up. So before starting, I would like to tell you that there is a limited period offer that is going on right now in my complete Ionic course, where you will learn the food delivery application with Firebase and using the latest SDK versions of Ionic and Firebase. So this offer is valid only for a few days, so get it right now if you haven't enrolled in that. So with that being said, let's dive into this video now. So you have already seen how we have worked with the search page, and it is looking pretty awesome according to me. You can see the design is out and running out here. If you are not following the whole Uber Eats app series, then you can watch the whole series. The cards is flashing out there at the top. You can just click on that and enjoy the whole playlist of Uber Eats clone application. So today we are going to build the empty screen which will be dynamic, and you can play around with that with a lot of stuffs. Let's check it out how it looks like. So I'm not going to show anything right now. Let's quickly jump into the building part, and we will start with creating a component for that, because I'll be using that up whenever we are searching for any category. And in fact for restaurant also you can search out here. Let me just search for a category, let's say Mexican. So we have the whole list of items out here. So we have a whole list of restaurants out here, and if we don't have any list of restaurants, well, the restaurant area is empty, then we are going to show that particular empty screen. And how we are going to make it dynamic, I'll show you right now. So let's quickly go to our second PowerShell. I think this one is empty right now. So I'll be creating a component, Ionic G component. Within our components folder, I'm going to create a component named as empty screen. Alright, the component is created now. Let's check it out. So out here we will have our component. I'm keeping everything in one place only. I've already explained you in the previous lectures why I'm doing that. So, and let's go to our component.module.ts, and out here in our constant I'm going to have it, because it will be used in more than one place. That is why it should be passed out here. Empty screen component, get it from the second one or the first one, whichever you like, but it needs to be imported. Fine, now it is imported properly and we can use it up very nicely. So we can use the Ionic components also now. So that's a pretty good thing. I'll clean it up, and at first what am I going to do? I'm going to have an input decorator, because whenever I want to pass some data, say like any image or icon or any text, I will be passing in the form of an object, and that will be passed using the input property in that particular app empty screen tag, which I'll just show you in some time. And using this particular decorator, we can fetch that particular input properties or input values directly into this particular component. That's how it works. And if you just hover on it, you can just get it, you can just get what is the actual use of it. But at first we need to import it up. So I'll import it out here, as I was not getting the suggestion, so I can directly import it out here. Now if you hover on it, you can see everything is shown out here, what is the basic use of it, and you will come to know about the uses right now. So without wasting any more time, let me just pass any variable name. I've given model, I think that's fine. And now in our main HTML file we are going to work with the designing part. So let's start with that. So at first I'm going to have an iron grid, because I will be using a column to show up the things properly. If you want, you can use iron item also, but I think column will look better because it will take a lot of spacing and and I think that's gonna be fine. So whichever you want, you can use it up, but I will be using a grid for that. Within that, an iron row, then I will have my iron column. So by default it's going to take the whole width. Now I want everything at the center, so I'll just pass iron text center. And one more important thing in the Visual Studio Code, well, I think there is a new feature that they have introduced, that if you pass this equal sign, these codes will open up automatically, so you don't have to type it on your own. Well, that is a good feature, but it takes time to get adaptive to that. So I have tried, and I have literally suffered a lot of problem because of this, as I have a habit of typing it up. So now I'm trying to change it. So now within this ion column, what am I going to have? I'll have an ion icon at first. So I'm getting the suggestion. Let me just have this ion icon. And within that, I can pass the name. As you can see, double quotes are coming up automatically. And the next one, I will have the color. All right. So let me give color to be primary for the time being and name to be search. All right. Let's give it for the time being. And what am I going to do? Or in fact, let me just do it directly only because I have already shown you the input decorator. So I'll be having all the values coming from there itself. So I can pass out here model question mark dot icon. So question mark is important because if this icon does not exist still, it won't give some error. So now for color also we'll do the same, model dot color with a question mark, right? So this is done for our ion icon. Let's do some other stuff also. Now what am I going to do? I will have another row where I'm going to place the text, because there needs to be little spacing and row will have some spacing by default and I want to use that up. So I have simply copied it again and I will just change this stuff. And I think we can pass ion text center in our ion grid instead of passing everywhere. We will check that out if that works or not when we will see the output. So let me just clear it up. And instead of the ion icon, I'm going to have an ion label in which I'm going to show the title. So model question mark dot title, that will be the value that we will be having out there. And one more last thing that I might need is ion text, where we can pass the subtitle if you want. So I know you must be a little confused right now, but in some time you will be pretty clear. So I'll just check a condition. If model question mark dot subtitle exists, then I'm going to simply show it. Model question mark dot subtitle. Fine. So I think our empty screen is pretty much okay right now. We'll work with the CSS later on if needed. Now it's time to use it up directly into our search page, because out there only we will apply it first. Out here in the home screen, I don't think we need that. If you want, you can pass it out here if you don't have anything, but mostly you are going to have some data, so don't need to worry about it. So in the search page only we are going to work with that. When we have some data out here or we don't have it, then I'm going to show that up. So let's see how we can apply that up. So what am I going to do out here? Well, this all restaurants array, I think that's what we do have out here, and this dot restaurants. All right, I'm having it out here. What am I going to do? I'm going to simply comment it up. Now we will have an empty array list. All right, let me click on Mexican again, empty list. That's what I want. So let's go to our HTML and we'll work out there, because we have in our search module the components module imported directly, so we can use the empty screen also directly. So let's, in the HTML, what am I going to do? I'm going to pass a condition out here in my ion content. Let me do it out here. So this is the list that will be coming up, and I'm going to call out here app empty screen, which you can see the suggestion is coming up, right? So this is what I'm going to call, and out here I will check this condition. Let me copy and paste it out here, and let's break it down a bit. Now this condition, I'm going to change it to equals to 0, because if search bar exists and restaurants.length is greater than 0. If you're new, I must tell you that you should follow the whole Uber Eats app series to understand this thing up. All right, and now we are going to see the empty screen, but it will not work. Let me show you. If I click on it, as you can see, still it is not showing anything. Why is that so? Because we haven't passed the model out here or the value out here of the object. And if we don't pass it, how we are going to get the things, right? That is why out here I'm going to pass this input attribute or property, you can see, and in here let me pass item. Fine. And this item we have to declare it somewhere. You can declare it out here, item, which will be equals to, you can give the type of any also out here, and within this we can directly define our properties, what all things we need out there. So we need an icon, right? And then we need a color also to be passed. What else do we need? The title was there, and a subtitle if you need so. So for the icon, let's give search outline, because this is related to search, and color, let's call it which color will be better. Let's give it primary for the time being. And for the title, let me just pass, sorry, no results found. Alright, now let's check it out, how it looks like. If I click on this Mexican again, as you can see, something is coming up, right? The actual data, whatever we need. Now our primary color is red, that is why it is showing us the red color, and we have the text out here. That is pretty fine. Now let me try with subtitle also, if that works or not. So subtitle, let me do one thing. I'll just place the sorry at the top and out here, no results found. I think that's gonna be better. Alright, let me click on Mexican again, and it is showing in the same manner only, no difference at all. If you want in the second line, you can pass a p tag within the ion label. I think that's gonna work pretty nice. Fine. So you can play around with all this stuff, but we need to design it a bit. We need to make our icon look bigger. And for that, I will go to out here, the component, and work with the CSS out here to the ion icon. I'm going to pass a font size of, because that's how we can increase the size of it. Let's see, 1.8 rem. Let's see how it looks like. Not sure about it. Alright, Mexican. No, it's too small. I think I need 10 times bigger than this one. So let's give it 18 rem. Let's see, it's too big. But let's see whether that gets applied or not. Alright, I'll click on Mexican again. Now this is coming up, right? It's looking good. And even you can place it at the center by transforming it a bit, like 10VH transform to the Y direction. You can have that, but I think it's fine. It's almost at the center, so it's proper because this text is at the center. That looks pretty okay, so I'm happy with that. And now if you want to just show this text at the bottom, let me just show you how that can be done. Instead of this, let me just cut this and paste it out here in the p tag, and I'll paste it. And this condition I'm going to apply to my p tag. I think that will be better. Let me click on Mexican again, and now it is working fine. I have the text at the bottom if you want that at the subtitle. So you can play around with all this data. Now the most important thing is, instead of icon, if you want to pass an image, then what we are going to do? Well, let me do one thing. I'll simply comment it up, and out here I'm going to have an img tag where I'm going to pass the src to be dynamic. So that is the beauty when we are working with a object of type any. We can pass any kind of data, so it's gonna accept that. So I'm going to pass out here model dot image, and I need to pass a condition out here that it will occur only if if we have model dot image. And similarly out here, in fact, instead of commenting, I'll pass out here a condition that it will occur only if we have the icon. Fine. And that's how we can play around with all this stuff. Let me just break it down a bit. And now it looks fine. And we need to see the design of it. As of now, we will get the icon. If I just click on Mexican, we will get the icon right now. Alright. And you can increase the size of this particular title also if you want. Let's say, let me give some size to my ion label. Let me pass a font size of 1.2 rem. Let's check it out. Alright, it is looking bigger, right? Similarly, you can pass for subtitle, I think, or should I make it a little more bigger? I think that is fine. Now for the p tag, I'll pass a font size of 0.9 rem will be better. Alright, let me click on Mexican, and there we go. It is fine according to me, still visible, and it's proper too. You can play around with the color also if you want, but I'll keep the color as red only. That's pretty okay. And now I will go to my search page again and play around with this stuff out there. So in the TypeScript, well, what am I going to do? At first, I don't want any subtitle to occur, so I'll simply cut it and remove it. Once I remove that up, it will not show up unless there is some value that is showing up, which is put out here. Fine. And we are still having the icon. If I don't want to use the icon, I can use the image also instead of the icon. So for that, what am I going to do? Well, I already have in my assets folder in the imgs, I already have an icon set.png, which is an emoji. So let's have this emoji out there. Now, how can we have that up? In the TypeScript, well, I'm going to simply, let me comment it up for you so that you can understand. And in fact, that subtitle one also, let me just comment it up. I don't want you to get confused regarding this. Fine. Alright, now I think it's fine. I'll pass an image out here where the link will be asset/imgs/sad.png file. Alright, let me give a comma and it is good to go. Let's check it out. Alright, reloading is done. Let me click on Mexican and I'm getting the image. And I think there is a background in this image which is not looking that bad, I think. So it's gonna work. Fine. And I got this image from Pixabay, which you can see out here most probably where it is. So this is from where I got the image. This is Pixabay and you can get it. You don't need to pass any attribution out here and it is free for commercial use also. So you can have that up. Now moving back out here, well, this is working pretty nicely. I don't need to pass anything out here because it's going to take the whole size and it's fine. But if you still want to resize it up, well, you can do one thing, which I think should be better, that you can set the height of it. Otherwise, it will take the full height if there is a bigger image. So in our empty screen out here in the TypeScript, what am I going to do? For my img tag, I'm going to pass a height of 50%, I think will be better. Let's check it out. What happens this time? Alright, let's click on Mexican and this is looking too small. So what am I going to do? Instead of 50%, let me give 50 VH. It's gonna be too huge, but let's check it out. Or let me give max height. I think that will be better. Maximum height that it can take. Now let's check it out. It is working fine. And what if I give 10 VH? It will change, I think. Alright. And it is working pretty nicely, right? So 10 VH is this much. 50 VH, I think it's good out here. So I'll give 50 VH and we can enjoy the thing up. So maximum 50 VH will be how much? We can check that up out here. Well, this is opened up and let me open the design. Now I will simply click on it and this is the image height. The max width is applied and this is the amount of size that it can take. Fine, I think it's okay. Pretty much fine according to me. Now you can do few more tasks also. If you want, you can pass a loader also out there. Until and unless it is like not showing you up the result, you can show a loader. I think that's a very good stuff. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the search page. And out here, I'm going to have a loader also. For the loader, I'm going to use ion spinner within a div. So within a div, align center, or it will be aligned in center automatically, I think. We don't need that in the div. I'm simply going to pass ion spinner. Alright, and I'm going to pass a condition out here when this will show up, when we will have is loading property to true, which we will define right now. Don't need to worry. And also one more condition, if search bar is true and is loading is true, because search bar is important. Whenever we are into the search bar, whenever we are into searching, then only it's going to work. Otherwise we don't need that, right? Now similarly for this is loading, I'm going to apply it out here also. Out here, if is loading is not true, then I'm going to show that up and this is fine. Now for the list also, I'm going to do the same. Not is loading, and now the conditions are applied properly. It's time to work with that. So in the TypeScript, I'm going to declare a property out here called is loading, which will be of type boolean. Initially I won't set anything, so it will take is loading to be doesn't exist and it will show up the data directly, right? Now in order to show the loader, what I need to do, I will just scroll down out here. Now in here, I'm simply going to uncomment this up and will pass this within a set timeout. So I'll set out here is loading equals to false equals to true, sorry. And after that, I'm going to have a set timeout within which we will have a callback, and the second parameter it's going to accept is the duration in milliseconds. So 3 seconds duration I have passed, and within this particular callback I'm going to simply pass all this stuff. Alright, as this is static data, so we can pass it out here pretty nicely in the set timeout because I want to show the loader. Fine, that's what I'm going to do. So this should work pretty nicely, and after we get the data, I'm simply going to set this dot is loading to false. Alright, that's it. Now if I click on this Mexican, let's see what happens. We are getting the loader. Okay, it is at the end part. I don't want out there. So what am I going to do to this particular div? The thing that I did earlier, I'll align it to center, and also I need to transform it in y direction. to show it at the center, correct? And along with that, I'll also pass a color to it to be primary because it was showing the dark color by default. Now out here to this particular div, I'll pass a class out here saying transform center. Any class name you can pass, and we are going to work with that particular class out here. In this particular manner, I'm going to have it, and I'll transform it in Y direction by, let's say, 40 VH will be better. Let's check it out. Okay, now I'll click on Mexican, and you can see the loader is showing up, right? That's great. After 3 seconds, we are getting the data. So it is working pretty nicely. And let's say if we don't have the data, then what will happen? Let me just show you that also. So in the TypeScript, what am I going to do? I'm going to simply hide this particular or comment this particular restaurant data that we will get while searching. And this time we will see what kind of data do we get. I'll click on Mexican again and loading. Now we are getting the empty screen one. And let's say if I don't want that, let me click on this roles. Definitely I'll get an empty one because there is no data related to that, even if I don't comment this up. Now let's try it again. I'll click on roles. After 3 seconds, it is showing up properly. So I'm happy with that. You can play around with the stuff and do as you like. I'm pretty much okay with all this stuff. Even I think 35 will be better instead of 40. You can play around with that stuff. So we have successfully implemented our dynamic empty screen design along with the iron spinner. So I hope you like this thing. And one more last thing that I think you should try it out, that now instead of this thing, what am I going to do? I'm going to search the restaurant along with the cuisines. For that, I'm going to use another query, which is this one. So at first, I'm going to check and I'm going to convert everything into lowercase, just the way I'm doing it out here. So whatever name of the restaurant that will be coming up, I'm first of all converting it into lowercase, because whenever we are typing for search, we might type in uppercase, we might type in lowercase. So we need to convert each and everything into lowercase. That's a good practice to work with. So I've converted it into lowercase, and then I'm going to check using the includes function that whether that text is included in that particular name or not. If it occurs, then it's going to throw that particular results. Otherwise, I'm using a OR condition, and I'm going to check the earlier condition out here directly, where we are checking the cuisines. We are finding each and every element out there and whichever matches with that particular query. And in fact, I'm converting this query to lowercase also. That is also very important. So both are in lowercase, then it's going to match pretty easily. That's what we are going to do out here, and it's going to give us the result. Let's check it out how it works. So I'll click on Mexican at first. I should get 3 data. So 1, 2, and 3. That's great. Kolkata roll, stay fit 1, stay fit. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to type out here instead of Mexican, STA, and it's let me do one thing. Let me keep it as capital, and let me go for all capital. Let's see whether that lowercase works or not. So I'll hit on search, and it's going to search right now, and it will give me the result where the name is stay fit, no Kolkata roll, no Kolkata rolls. So it's working pretty nicely, right? And instead of this, if I give Mexican MEX, or in small letters MEX, hit search, and I'm getting all the results, right? So this is how we can operate the search one into our application pretty nicely. So I think this is pretty good. Let me just simply remove it up, not needed anymore. And this is looking really lovely, I would say. So we have successfully implemented our empty screen. Let's check it out, this one. Empty screen, the loader, the iron spinner, I would say. And along with that, the last one is the searching. Also, we have optimized it a lot. So I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button, do share with your friends, and do subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And I hope you will give a lot of love to this particular video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys in quick time.